Hello ladies and gentlemen and movie lovers of all kind, and welcome back to the channel. As always, I am your host, Brett Murphy, and for today's video, it is going to be another Let's Discuss. Meaning that I'm going to be discussing my own personal opinions on a certain topic, hoping that you will give me your opinions down in the comments. And for today's topic, it is a very special one that I hold near and dear to my heart, and that is, will Warner Bros. Ever restore the SnyderVerse? Now, of course, those of you who are close to me will likely know that I am a huge fan of Zack Snyder's Justice League and of Zack Snyder in general. I was a huge supporter of Restore the Snyder Cut and am now a big supporter of Restore the SnyderVerse. But the question here is, will Warner Bros. Ever actually pull the trigger on the SnyderVerse and keep it alive? And before we get into the real content of the video, I just wanted to let you all know that I have an entire playlist dedicated to all of my Let's Discuss videos. There are a plethora of topics covered in there, so be sure to check them out, and I guarantee you'll find something you like. And so, without further ado, let's hop right into things. So firstly, I think it's important to cover why exactly I am covering this topic. And that's the fact that hashtag Restore the Snyderverse has been tweeted well over 1 million times. I think the last time I checked it was like 1.5 or maybe even more than that by now. By fans, by celebrities, by social media influencers, and even some politicians and plenty of other people from various forms of media. At this point, it is set to become a movement even bigger than hashtag Restore the Snyder Cut. So what do I think the chances are of the Snyderverse actually being restored? If I'm being hopeful, Warner Bros. Will do it because of all of this support. But if I'm being realistic, I really think the chances are slim to none. Like, if you want percentage-wise, I would say something like 10 or 15%, maybe even lower. And believe me, that breaks my heart to say it just as much as it breaks yours to hear it. Again, I am a huge supporter of Zack Snyder and the Restore the Snyderverse movement. I love Snyder as a director. Man of Steel is one of my top 10 favorite comic book movies of all time. And I just recently ranked all of Zack Snyder's filmography in a video a couple weeks back, which is both a shameless plug and further proof that I really do like this guy's style. But at the end of the day, I've been saying this for months, and I really do think that Warner Bros. Doing the Snyder Cut was just a huge, elaborate PR stunt to get more subscribers for HBO Max. And also trying to get everyone back in their good graces before all of their new DC movies release, because, let's face it, they're really not the favorites out there right now. Now let's look at some of the things that have occurred since the release of the Snyder Cut. Firstly, the big thing that I think is standing in the way of the Snyderverse actually getting restored is Warner Bros. Themselves. Just look at the Ann Sarnoff interview where she said that she was happy to do this for Zack, she was glad that the fans love and appreciated his work, and was happy that everyone enjoyed the movie, but that was the end of Zack's trilogy, even though he was supposed to have 5 movies, and said that they will be moving on, continuing with their current slate. And just to rub a little bit of extra salt in the wound, Ann went on to say that they will also not be doing the Ayer cut of Suicide Squad, which is another thing that has been on and off, sort of mildly trending since the Snyder Cut movement. And on top of that, Walter Hamada is still in charge, and it's safe to say that Zack and a lot of other people involved with the Snyder Cut are really not on good terms with Mr. Hamada. So as long as he stays in charge, there's no way I think the Snyderverse is gonna happen. The next question is though, would Zack even want to do it after the way he has been treated? How much creative freedom could he have? Because there's no way that Warner Bros. Is going to let him drop a 4-hour movie in theaters and just let him have free reign. But regardless, it has been revealed by Zack that they essentially made him sit down and stare them in the eyes and say that this is not canon. They made him say that he recognizes that the Snyder Cut is not canon, basically just squashing all of his hopes and dreams before the work even really began. Because for whatever reason, they're going to keep Justice League 2017 as their official canon. Although with all of that being said though, no matter how poorly Zack has been treated, no matter what they made him say or do, and regardless of what they did to him after the tragedy he and his family suffered and what they did to Justice League behind his back, Zack has been very supportive of the Restore the Snyderverse movement. He has told us to keep watching the Snyder Cut over and over and over again to show them that this is what we want. And telling people to keep tweeting and keep hashtagging. He was blown away saying wow just wow after the hashtag hit over 1 million tweets in such a short period of time. And he told us to keep going because he doesn't think that Warner Bros. Could ignore all of this support. But a couple of more things going against the Snyderverse and showing even further how badly Warner Bros. Just wants to bury this and be done with this. HBO Max never really officially released the numbers, or at least if they did, it was much later, and I think they were drastically altered. Now compare what HBO Max had said to what Omar Al-Rassi and his team were able to find. This is what their estimated streaming numbers are based on all of their information. And these numbers are also based on just the first weekend of release, so that's the Thursday to Sunday timeline. In North America, HBO Max, 3.2 million, Crave, which is in Canada, 1.1 million. UK, Sky Cinema, 1.1 million, Asia, HBO Go, 2.34 million, OSN, 260,000, Australia, New Zealand, Binge, 740,000, Neon, 92,000. There weren't any stats available for South America. Europe, HBO Go, 920,000, and however you pronounce that, my apologies, 1.32 million, and then in Africa, Video Play, 200,000, and OSN, 25,000. Now that is much, much, much higher than what Warner Bros. Said, and a lot more than they were likely willing to admit. But again, they clearly wanted this movie to sink, not swim. Like, half of the movie leaked 10 days early. They let it be up for 2 full hours before taking it down. On top of that, the opening night press screening, fan event, or whatever it was delayed by 6 whole hours. And not to mention, they dropped this movie at 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which was like 4 a.m. my time, compared to them dropping Wonder Woman 1984 at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Christmas Day. So yeah, let's definitely drop the 4-hour movie at 4 a.m. And although I can't confirm this because I don't have HBO Max, I have Crave where I am in Canada, but apparently the trending and or popular page or both were taken down during the entire first weekend that the Snyder Cut was up. And Warner Bros. Was super quick to try and overshadow all of this hype and put the flames out of the movement as quickly as possible. Because just mere days after the Snyder Cut dropped, they were dropping DC news like it was going out of style, left, right, and center. We had a new Black Adam release date as well as the fact that it was starting production. We had Pierce Brosnan cast as Dr. Fate. We had the new James Gunn directed The Suicide Squad trailer and new posters and all sorts of other crazy stuff. And now let's take a more analytical approach to the last little portion of this video. Firstly, for Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3 to happen, it would require a ton of money. I mean, I think the ending budget of Justice League, both between Zack Snyder's original shoots, on top of Joss Whedon's reshoot, on top of Zack being able to finish the Snyder Cut, ended up being like $350–400 million. So in order to finish these last 2 movies, it would require a pretty big pile of green. And here's why Warner Bros. Won't do that. Firstly, Justice League was a major flop. Look, I know there was a ton of controversy surrounding it. It was 2 hours long, a lot of people knew what happened, but that doesn't change the fact that general audiences really didn't know most of this stuff, and these are some of the biggest, most recognizable and iconic heroes out there, of all time, ever, anywhere, regardless of who talks to what now how. It is Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, The Flash, Aquaman, like, it's absolutely insane. And the movie flopped hard. It was borderline a box office bomb. Now, BVS did well at the box office, but it didn't crack the billion mark like Warner Bros. Was banking on, and it was received incredibly poorly by critics. I mean, they were not kind to this movie at all. And those are just facts. I really don't think that Warner Bros. Is willing to throw that much money at projects that they can't guarantee are gonna make what they need them to make. And I know that there are well over 1 million people out there who are more than willing to throw all of the cash that they have at these last 2 movies. But if we do a little bit of number crunching, so we'll say 1.5 million tweets, so that's 1.5 million people guaranteed to go and see these last 2 movies. And we'll average it out. I don't know what everyone's ticket prices are going to be. Of course, you have IMAX and you have the Dolby Atmos theaters and D-Box and all these other sorts of things, but we'll average it out. So my average ticket price at my local theater is $11.50 per person. So if 1.5 million people, all of the people who tweeted #RestoreTheSnyderVerse, went to my theater to go and support these last 2 movies at $11.50 a ticket, that only equals out to $7.25 million, which is nowhere near what they need. And I know that all those people would have been more than willing to go and see the Snyder Cut in theaters, but the matter of the fact is that general audiences aren't going to go sit through a 4-hour superhero movie. It's just not going to happen. And I know that was a lot to throw at you there. There was a bit of personal opinion, a bit of facts, a bit of background knowledge, a bit of analytics, some number crunching, but it really just seems like Warner Bros. Doesn't want this to happen, and they really have no plan or intentions on letting it happen. Like I said, in the end, Warner Bros. Clearly just wants to bury this whole Snyder Cut, SnyderVerse movement thing and get on with their current slate. They just simply want to get as far away from it as possible and do whatever it takes to make sure it remains in the past and that their hands are clean and they're done with it. And in my personal opinion, I don't really think Zack would want to go back and do it unless there were some huge changes with the execs at Warner Bros. He openly said that it's not up to him, it's not his call, and he thinks there's a very little chance that he'll be working with them again. And it seems to me that the final nails in the coffin is the recently released trailer for Zack Snyder's trilogy on HBO Max, which people originally got excited for, thinking that it was Justice League and then Justice League 2 and 3, but no, it was the fact that Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and the Snyder Cut were all on HBO Max at the same time, and you can sit there and watch this 3-movie trilogy that is Zack Snyder's story. Now, I know a lot of you took that in the sense that, oh, Warner Bros. Is recognizing the Snyder Cut as canon, but I really don't think that's the case. Again, I think that's the final nail in the coffin for the fact that Warner Bros. Is saying, this is it. This is all you're getting. You got your Man of Steel, you got your Batman v Superman, and you begged and cried for it for years. Here's your Snyder Cut. It's done. It's over. But that also doesn't necessarily mean that other projects can't stem from it, because since the release of the Snyder Cut, there have been 2 other hashtags that have become wildly popular and trending quite frequently, and that is hashtag Deathstroke HBO Max, or HBO Max Deathstroke, or whatever it was, with Joe Manganiello himself spearheading the trend. I would love to see it. The guy's clearly passionate about the project, and there were talks of a show and or a movie, and Deathstroke is an awesome character, and Joe Manganiello was born to play the role. And the other one is Ben Affleck's Batman, which again, I would love to see, although I highly doubt it, because in my personal opinion, the role of Batman kind of ruined Ben Affleck's life. I mean, just look at the guy during the press tour for Batman v Superman. Look at what's happened to him in the last couple of years since these movies have come out. The guy has been through a hell of a lot, and I really think the only way that he comes back is if we get Justice League 2 and 3 from Zack Snyder and everyone comes back with it. Now again, I said the chances were slim to none and like 10 to 15%, so never say never. Like Zack has said himself, keep watching and showing your support for the Snyder Cut. Keep tweeting as much as humanly possible. Show your support, show your love, tell Warner Bros. This is what you want. And there were so many people, millions upon millions of people, laughing in the faces of the people tweeting hashtag release the Snyder Cut, and here we are laughing back in their faces because it happened. So we know that this is possible, and we really do have to just keep pushing to see if it can ever become a reality. But there are also other possibilities that we need to recognize as well that might not be exactly what we want, but could still satisfy the die-hard Snyder fans. And that is, what if Warner Bros. Was willing to do Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3 in animated form? Because honestly, DC's animated movie track record is stellar, like completely unmatched. And if they said, hey, you know what, Zack, we'll do this, but it's gotta be an animated movie, I would sit down and watch a 4-hour animated version of Justice League 2 and Justice League 3 easily. And the other possibility is, what if we got it continued in comic book form? What if they call it Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 or Zack Snyder's Justice League, insert subtitle here, and then we got a giant span of comics or a huge graphic novel that was essentially what Zack had planned for the stories of 2 and 3 just in comic book form. Because I think that too would be spectacular to see. Regardless, at the end of the day, folks, this is just my own personal opinion on the matter. That's the whole point of this sort of unscripted discussion style video. This is just my own thoughts and opinions, completely subjective, but the real thing is I want to hear yours. Have you been tweeting hashtag restore to the SnyderVerse? Do you think there's a chance that the SnyderVerse will ever actually be restored? My final message would be this: do not lose hope. A lot of people lost hope on the Snyder Cut. We got it. There's definitely a chance that this can't happen. My own personal opinion is I don't think it will, at least in the way we want it to, but that doesn't mean we should give up. So that is all for today's video, folks. Be sure to let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree with my opinion on this topic. And feel free to let me know a topic that you'd like to see me cover next. If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. And if you'd like to see more content, consider subscribing to my channel and ringing that little bell icon. That way you can be notified about all of my latest uploads. And as always, stay safe. Thank you so much for watching, and that's a wrap. Hey you, yeah you, if you made it this far, just know I appreciate you. And while you're here, consider hitting that subscribe button.